Okay guys, today I was not left with any choice but this game between Grandmaster Pavel, Eljanov and Grandmaster Hikaru Nakamura. All the other games finished almost uneventfully in a draw. Maybe Mamedjarov Karyakin deserved some analysis, but maybe for another time. If you have the chance, make sure you check it out. Mamedjarov did get some advantage there and was very well defended. The game was very well defended by Karyakin, so check it out if you get the chance. Let's see what happened in this game. Eljanov went for the Catalan castle and Hikaru captured in c4. Queen c2. We have seen ideas like this before, taking the queen out early in the game, but it's safe in this type of position. a6, a4. Although b5 might not be really move that black wants to play immediately, a4 is definitely good to stop any kind of b5 anytime in the game. So bishop d7, queen takes c4, bishop c6, bishop g5. And so far it's theory. In this position, the most played moves are queen c2 and queen d3. And the one that's played even more is queen d3. With the idea that, you know, then you're going to develop the knight either c3 and d2 and try to play with e4. But the same you can do with the queen in c2. And the queen in c2 has been more recently adopted, I've noticed, because with the queen in c2, you're actually controlling the c5 square as well, not allowing black to push c5. Bishop e4. Now, of course, queen to c1. Not of course, but this is what Eljanov played. And I want to mention that actually, if you have been following the Sinquefield Cup, Hikaru actually played this against Anand, queen to d1. He played this with white. And he eventually won the game after c5, dc5, bishop c5. He exchanged queens and played knight d2. And okay, the game went on, but at some point Anand made a mistake and Hikaru played a very beautiful endgame. So I don't know if it was annoying or not to play against this line, but okay, in this position, Eljanov didn't go for queen d1, he played queen c1, and the idea of this move is, again, as I mentioned to you earlier, with the queen in c2, but you want to control the c5 square, not to allow black to equalize anytime soon, and at the same time you're preparing to bring your rook towards d1. h6 takes. White take. Normally you don't want to give away this bishop, but you know, there's no really good square for the bishop. If you come towards in f4, for example, there will be knight d5, and this bishop has no really good spot in this position. So it's much better to just give it away and try putting your pawns on the black squares. Bishop takes f6, bishop takes. Now rook d1. Knight c3 actually is the move that's been a little bit more played in this position, but they basically have similar ideas. Just that with rook in d1, you're still keeping the opportunity to play knight d2 as well. So you're not showing yet black whether you're going to develop your knight in c3 or d2. a5. Now, of course, black is preparing to come with the knight in b4, because although a4 is a great move to stop b5, in the same time is weakening the b4 square. So it's like an outpost for black. Knight bd2. This was the choice of Eljanov, and here Hikaru actually made a novelty. He played bishop h7, which is a move that has not been played before in this position. Normally, players take in f3, give away the bishop. Bishop takes and then c6 because bishop b7 pawn is weakened. I play c6, and this position normally finishes in a draw. Because it's different color bishops, although white will have more space, it's very hard to progress this position with white. So, but Hikaru played bishop h7, and although, you know, it's a novelty, I really like it. It doesn't seem that, it seems like a really natural move. The black is keeping the bishop there. Why give it away? I mean, he just won it in f6. Why give it away? I really like this new idea with bishop h7, but he had to find some ways to bring this bishop in the game somehow later on. The only problem of the bishop in h7 is that if there's nothing to do on this diagonal, then you're stuck with the bishop there, and that's kind of what happened in the game. So maybe this can be improved a little bit somehow for next games. Knight b3, c6. With c6, black is basically closing this bishop in g2 and in the same time just making sure the b7 pawn will not have to suffer being attacked by this bishop. Queen c3. Of course, white needs to finish his development, and the queen in c1 doesn't look like it's doing much anymore. c5 has been definitely stopped for the moment, so we need to make sure this rook from a1 gets into play. Queen c3, bishop e7. Also coming towards the b4 square. And now, good move by Eljanov, knight c5, stopping the bishop from getting there. Queen c7, of course, that pawn was attacked as well. And now another nice move that I liked, knight e5. And I've talked to you before about the d4 pawn. Normally when it was isolated, in this case it's not isolated, but the pawn in d4 is actually supporting those two squares. So we've never really seen in my videos two knights getting there both on c5 and e5. Normally they would get on e5 and annoying the king side. But here with two knights, it's they're controlling d7 and it's a little bit annoying for black to develop. However, knight a6 is a possibility which actually was played by Hikaru. Knight a6 to try to trade this knight from here. But here Eljanov found this very interesting tactics, knight takes b7, which is complicating the game a little bit. Otherwise, in this position, maybe white could have tried to play f4 to ensure this knight in e5 a little bit more. And as you can see by my arrows, f6 wouldn't be a move that black is thinking of playing because they would weaken e6 really, really badly. So this knight, would remain very nicely sustained by the f pawn in e5, and it's clear that white is slightly better, but I cannot see a really good plan for white to improve the position because, you will have problems with the d4 pawn. So if you play e3, then you cannot try to play e4, f5. And if you play e4, then you might have troubles with the pawn in d4. And black might not, trade the knight here. He can think of playing knight b4. And it's not very clear how to progress the position, but it's definitely a move. It's definitely annoying to play with black because you're a little bit stuck with your pieces. You don't have that much space. However, as I said, Eljanov wanted to complicate the position, so he took bishop takes c6, and here Hikaru made a mistake. He went for the passive approach. It's clear that here, after this sacrifice, a5 is weak. It's going to remain weak and it might be, captured by white. But, b2 is also weak. So we have to think of how to start trading pieces because otherwise white's rooks, will get active. So we need to try to find ways to trade some pieces here with black. And I think queen a7 or queen b8 would have been a better choice. And what's the difference? Well, now if white takes in a8, we take with the queen. And the queen and the bishop might come back into play through e4 and create some batteries here on the diagonal. And if queen takes a5, now rook b8. And of course, the bishop is going to come eventually into play, but in the same time, b2 might be lost. And black is definitely very active here, which is the approach that Hikaru had to take, and he would normally take. I'm a little bit surprised he did not take the active approach in this game. Let's see what's the big difference between queen a7 and queen c7. Well, after queen c7, this capture happened, and he traded the queens here, which was maybe not the best choice because now there's this good knight c6 move. And white has lots of, he has at least a small advantage in this position. a5 is weak, and I'm going to think about playing f3, e4, closing your bishop there in h7. And of course, in the same time, I'm going to try to activate my rooks on the b file, specifically in b5 if I can manage to win your a5 pawn. The problem is if this bishop could jump to c7, it would be great, but the only place you can actually try to defend that pawn is to d8. And again, this is the move that Hikaru played, but it's the defensive approach, not the best one. He had to give away the a5 pawn and play king f8. Now, if white takes, at least the king comes closer to the center, and it's going to take some time for white to actually activate the rook, because I have rook b8. Also, I could have some rook c8 idea to keep you strained to defend the c3 pawn, and my king is coming towards c4. But, okay, and if white takes the pawn in a5, rook c8 now, rook c1, now bishop d8. This knight cannot go in b7, it's going to be trapped there after king e7, so has to go back to b3, and now rook b8 and rook b2, and black activated his rook and keeps white's stay passive. So this was the best choice for Hikaru to try to equalize the position, but after bishop d8, this trade happened, and now white is doing what I mentioned to you. He will do f3, e4, keeping that bishop in h7, and of course trying to bring his rook on the b file to win that a5 pawn. So Hikaru played rook c8, rook a3. Now I play rook a3, but I also want to play rook b3. Notice that rook b1 was not possible because of the bishop. Of course, rook b3 not immediately. I need to move this rook first. Otherwise, I would fall into some trap, bishop c2. Bishop g6. Hikaru is trying to bring that bishop into play, but it's a little bit slow. Rook b8, trying to activate the rook, but rook d2, stopping it immediately. f6, and now great move by Eljanov, rook a to a2, getting ready to trade the rooks and come towards a5, you know, like this. Rook b3, trying to stay active, but it's really a little bit too late. Rook b5, so that trade happened, but I really wanted this pawn even more than that one, because this one is even further. Rook a7. f5, he's trying to keep white from coming with the king, but in fact, actually with this move, he's weakening the dark square, so you're gonna see what happened to him. King h7, very strange to me to see this move. The king normally should come towards the center. Why go in h7? There's no mating pattern coming for the moment, and actually h7 happened to be in the final position, the mate square, so definitely was better to get out of there, come towards the center. Now, if rook b7, you're just coming towards the center, and now king e7, and if you attack me in g8, I can come always back. And just keep the king central and see on which side you need to go. King h7, definitely mistake, and now white is just starts pushing the a pawn. a6, a7, now rook a2, threatening rook b8 and some queens. Okay, white gave away the d4 pawn, but it's for some reason, because now the rook went from the c file, so now my rook is going to be activated through c8. Rook a6, rook d1, h4, very good move, getting rid of the weakness in a way, and now I will want to come with the king that way. h5, another weakening move, but maybe he was afraid of some h5 at some point. I'm not entirely sure. Now the king is just coming towards g5. Rook g1. Okay, you can't really do anything with your rook. My king is a really great protector. Now rook d6. Rook c8, as I mentioned to you, the rooks have been activated on the last rank. King g5, threatening some mates there. Rook d8, threatening mate. G6, and actually here Eljanov missed a super simple win. King f6, and after king h6 check, and now find the final move to checkmate in rook g8. And mate is coming. Or if you take, of course, I take back. He actually missed this, but he's still winning. After rook h8 check, rook g8 check, rook takes g6. Now I'm threatening to win your rook with rook h7 check. He just started taking all of the pawns, and here Hikaru resigned in this position. It was a sad loss for the American Grandmaster. I really hope he can get back tomorrow with a victory. That's it for today, guys. Stay tuned for more tomorrow. Thank you. Bye.